Well, hello there, friends. Let's talk about saying no. That is my 3-year-old daughter's favorite word. No. She will ask me a question. Daddy, is the sky blue? And when I say, yes, honey, it is, she'll say, no, it's not. I'll say, what? Okay. Don't quite know how to answer that. But as delusional as she is, I think she's onto something. Because saying no can be incredibly powerful. Obviously, not in the way that she says no, but in saying no to opportunities. Let's talk about my favorite subject in the whole world, focus. There are really two kinds of focus, micro focus and macro focus. Macro focus is focus on big picture. It's focus on general direction, on vision, things like that. Micro focus is the day-to-day decisions that you make in the moment about what you are going to do, where you are going to put your attention and your time. And both macro and micro focus are just so unbelievably important. Let's talk about how to apply focus, both macro and micro, in your writing. Recently, I've been discovering that I have been doing a reasonable job of micro focusing and a bad job of macro focusing. What do I mean by that? Well, I've been doing a reasonable job of showing up to work every day and putting in my time writing. I haven't been as good as I want to be, but I'm working to improve that. But at the same time, I've sort of been letting my macro focus slip a little bit, not keeping my focus on the vision that I have for my writing career. And I've been allowing it to slip by saying yes to all sorts of opportunities that are coming my way. A lot of these opportunities are great. They're really good. But they don't ultimately serve my macro purpose, right? The goal, the overarching goal that I have for my writing career. They end up being a hindrance rather than a help because I just shouldn't be doing them in the first place, right? They're taking me away from where I want to end up, which makes it doubly hard to get where I want to go. And so if I were to rate myself from a scale of 1 to 10, I would say that my micro focus right now is about a 7, which is better than average for sure. Still, again, not where I want it to be. I want to be in that 9-10 range. But I would say that my macro focus has probably been in the 3 or 4 range, which is below where I want to be by a mile and is really pretty detrimental. I have started noticing that because I'm pursuing so many different things, because I'm pursuing so many different options, I'm not making the progress that I want to. But what does this have to do with writing? Well, actually, this framework works really, really well in thinking about stories in general. Macro focus is the overarching plot. It's where you're trying to go. It's what you're trying to do with the series. Micro focus is the details of the scenes. And both are incredibly important. It's amazing to me how many times that principles in life are mirrored in writing and storytelling. And this is definitely one of those cases. Now, regardless of whether we're talking about macro focus or micro focus, what we need to be doing is establishing a plan and then executing on that plan. Now, sometimes we plan in a loose way, and sometimes we plan in a really tight way. And different people have different proclivities when it comes to how they plan. For instance, if you're a heavy plotter, then you're going to be incredibly detailed in both your macro and your micro focus, setting out every single step that you want to take all the way down the line. If you're more of a pantser like me, then you're going to be general in the planning of your focus. Your macro focus is going to be loosely aimed in a specific direction, and your micro focus will be just enough details to give you a sense of what you're doing, what you want to write, without needing to be too constricting. And both of these are totally appropriate ways to plan, but the really important thing is that we have a plan, that we understand where we're trying to go and what we're trying to do. Because if we don't, we just end up wandering everywhere. And then after we have our plan, it's important that we learn to say no. And this is where I have absolutely been failing and where I need to do a better job. Because I've just been sort of saying, yes, that seems cool. Yes, that seems cool. Yes, I'm going to do it. And I'm not saying that, good opportunities shouldn't be pursued. It's just that every opportunity also has a cost. And often for me, I've found that the cost is distracting you from the things you're actually trying to achieve. So if I'm writing a story and I all of a sudden have this great idea that will take my characters off on a completely different direction in a total tangent and will make it really hard for me to get to the destination that I was originally trying to go to, then I need to be careful about saying yes to that storyline, saying yes to that plot. In the same way that in the real world, I have to be able to say no to distractions that would take me away from writing if I want to write a book. I have to be able to say no to things that are going to absorb all of my time. I have to say no to things like new video games because I will spend all of my time playing these video games instead of writing. So once we have a plan and we've set it as our standard that we're going to say no to new opportunities, what then? Well, then it's just a matter of doing the hard work of actually focusing. And what I find really helpful is to just make sure I can review my plan consistently. For the first 2.5 years of my author career, that's exactly what I did. I went over my plan over and over and over and over. And then at the beginning of this year, something happened. I didn't keep doing that. I'm not exactly sure what it was. I have some ideas, but I don't know exactly what it was that caused me to just stop obsessing over my plan. Stop obsessing over my vision for what I wanted my career to be. But what ended up happening was that I just started to drift. You've all probably had this experience. But when we don't focus on the destination, it becomes really hard to get there. Because we tend to drift this way and we tend to drift that way and we tend to do this other thing and find something fun to do over here. And we don't make progress towards our goal. And then we look up and we're like, man, I didn't get where I wanted to be. Because this year I haven't been doing a good job in maintaining my focus on my goals, in keeping in mind where I want to go and how I want to get there, I've experienced a lot of drift. And it's now coming to bite me. And that's okay, because when we find that we've drifted, it's not the end of the world. We just have to refocus, right? We have to say, all right, where's my micro focus? 7? Great. Where's my macro focus? 3? Not good. We're going to fix that. Which is another great reason to have a plan, because you can actually tell if you're off. So the question then becomes, how am I actually going to get back on my plan, right? How am I going to shift my actions in a way that will result in what I want, as opposed to continuing in the path that I'm on? And that's really simple. I'm just going to steal a line from my daughter and start saying no to everything. Anything that doesn't fall inside of my plan is just going to get a no, which honestly sucks. Like, it hurts to do that. I love doing new things. I love exploring new projects and new ideas. But at the end of the day, I can't afford it. Like, I just can't. If I want to get where I want to go, and believe me, I do, I have to say yes to that and no to everything else.